Okay, so it's been a week since we started incubating our chicken eggs. And I think everything's going okay with it. Temperatures are up. The day after, last Monday, I noticed that they weren't spinning. But I manually spun them a couple times myself. Like that. So I don't think that was a big deal. And what happened was I was supposed to check the factory, or reset the factory reset button, and I didn't. I couldn't imagine why I wanted to do a factory reset, so I completely skipped that step, didn't read it. But then I noticed it wasn't spinning, which means it was in a mode of hatching. There's two modes to this. Everything's on a timer. So for the first 18 days, this spins around every hour. And then on the 18th day, it stops spinning and it just sits there. Well, it was still thinking it was in hatch mode. So I had to do a factory reset. But like I said, I was spinning them, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. You're supposed to spin them up to 5 times a day. And I probably spun it about 3 times in a 24-hour period before I realized what had happened. So I don't think I made a huge mistake. But somebody asked a question yesterday about a video I'd made a while back. As you know, we've had several roosters in the past. The first batch of chickens that we incubated come from 2 roosters called Frenchie and Roo. Well, they were getting pretty aggressive. The older the roosters get, the more aggressive they get. And they were just terrorizing the hens. I mean, it was getting out of hand. So, well, I'm not even going to tell you anything more about that. They just couldn't keep them anymore. So we bought Brahmas, and those are supposed to be a pretty hardy winter bird, and they're huge. So I think we got 4 female Brahmas, and we got 2 males. And we bought those at the hatchery. Well, one of them, a big storm came through, ripped up the chicken run, and so I went down there to get them all put away, and one of them was missing, one of the roosters. So that left us with 1 rooster. Well, as the roosters grew, that one grew to, I think, probably 10, 15 pounds. He was huge, absolutely huge, just a monster. Beautiful chicken. But he was up on a roost one day and jumped down and broke his leg. So we had to get rid of him. So we bought a rooster. Now the rooster that we bought was from a woman who just wanted some eggs, and she got hens. That's what she thought she got, but ended up getting a male out of the bunch. Well, she lived in an area with lots of people around. She didn't want to keep that rooster. So we promised we wouldn't butcher him or anything, that we were going to use him to fertilize eggs. Well, last year, he was too young. I thought he would have been old enough that we could have incubated. Now, last year we didn't incubate for several reasons, and that was one of the reasons. The other reason was, or get chicks. We could have bought chicks, but we didn't do that either because Carolyn's son was staying with us. We bought that camper, and we were trying to get everything set up, trying to get solar panels set up so he could run air conditioning. And it just wouldn't have been feasible to also do chicks. So it was kind of fortunate that he wasn't old enough at that time. Like I said, we thought he was old enough, but it turns out he was hatched in August, and we were trying to breed him by May, April, somewhere around there, and he just wasn't. Well, that being said, this rooster just doesn't seem as energetic as Frenchie and Roo was with the females. They were absolutely terrorizing the females. Now, I recognize we had 2 males, but we also had, I think, 17 hens. Now, 1 rooster can manage 10 to 12 hens. So we weren't like in the extreme with having too many roosters. It would have been better if we'd have had 24 hens or maybe even 22 hens, but we had 17. So 1 rooster was taking care of 12 of them, and the other one was taking care of 5. It was a little bit too much rooster, but I don't think it was over the top. But like I said, they were getting older and pretty aggressive. But this one, rarely do I see him mate with the hens. And it is a concern. I've seen him do it a couple times. Carolyn's seen him do it a couple times. But Frenchie and Rue, every time you were out there, you'd see him 3 or 4 times while you were out there. And this one, you just don't see him do it that much. Occasionally you'll catch it, but not very often. So I made a video about that a while back. And it is a concern that, you know, the commenter even brought it up. These chicken eggs, these eggs that we're incubating, are not fertilized. And that's going to be a problem. So what we'll do is this, if this doesn't produce any chicks, we'll go ahead and go over to that farm that we go to occasionally, and we'll pick up a batch of chicks. And that'll give us more roosters. Now, I know I promised that I would never get rid of this rooster or butcher him or anything, but you know, you just gotta sometimes do what you gotta do. He's just useless. If he can't fertilize eggs, he's just eating food, which raises your egg cost. And it's pretty significant how much food a rooster will go through in a year. So there's no reason to keep him. And if we buy more chicks, there'll be roosters in that we can keep one, keep the prettiest one, or whatever we want to do. We may be to a point where we want to get 2, because we're going to have at least 2 batches of chickens. We got, what, 11 down there now, I guess. And if we pick up another 11, that's 22. So that would require 2 roosters. So what I'm trying to say is, this isn't the end of the world if this doesn't work. This is the best option. This is cheap, easy, fun to do. But if it doesn't work, yeah, you spend about $6 a chicken, $3 to $6. So I mean, you'll spend $60 from some chickens, but then we'll have more roosters out of that, and then next year we can incubate. It's disappointing if it doesn't work, but it's not the end of the world. I'm glad somebody brought that up. Now, last night I started the wood stove. The wood stove is complicated at best in the fall and in the spring. You almost want to bring the buddy heater in and just use propane, but I don't want to do that this year. We did that the first year we were here. I didn't like it. Now, we didn't do that last year. Well, it was the only year we did it, so I don't know how many years we've been here. But last night, it got a little cool in here, so I went ahead and started the wood stove just so we can make it through the night. But I got up, Carolyn was watching Netflix or Amazon Prime, and it was 93 degrees in here. I mean, it was just downright hot. So I had to open a window. Now, I hate opening the window. To me, opening the window with a wood stove is like you opening the window with a propane heater or a furnace, an electric furnace, whatever. It's just wasting energy. So I try to manage the fire so it doesn't get us too hot in here, and then we don't get too cold in here either. I mean, I hear people in the comment section all the time, just open a window. Well, then you buy the firewood, or you split it, or whatever it is that you got to do, because it's just a waste for me. So it got a little warm in here. Now, that obviously could cause a little bit of an issue with the incubation also. The temperature has to be pretty consistent. We didn't get over 100.5 degrees, so I don't think, I mean, I didn't get up and check it, I should have, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. And yeah, it sounds like I'm making excuses in case we fail at this incubation. It's just something that can happen. I'm not making excuses. What I want to do is warn you of the potential that this may not work. And if we mess up, let's just say we messed up. Let's say I got it too hot in here. It's not the end of the world, even if we wanted to incubate and not buy chickens, because we started early enough this year that we planned on doing 2 or 3 batches anyways. If we just messed up this batch, we could do another batch or 2 batches. It only takes 3 weeks to incubate, not even a month. So since we started in I think it was the 1st of March, So, but I do appreciate the commenter reminding me. I guess I should have brought that up in the previous video, but it didn't even occur to me. It's not like I was hiding anything. I just didn't bring it up. Just didn't think about it. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about we were vandalized and I got into a shootout. So if I can inspire you to have a backup plan when you're living your dreams. Thanks for watching.